Ban three-letter organizations in the Fed. We have heard this multiple times. Obviously, when you hear that, you think, oh, the ATF, oh, the FBI, the CIA, and don't get me wrong, I'm down for banning all of those, but also one that gets overlooked, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, because the FTC has now run the risk of actually banning and legally punishing those who review bomb. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and yeah, this might be the most important story of the day. I get that the Black Myth Wukong stuff is a lot of fun, we're all celebrating, but this is something we should really take note of. New 163-page FTC regulation bans fake reviews, testimonials, and more in final rule. What does it mean for review bombing? We have the FTC stripping away freedom of speech. I know, initially, it sounds like a good idea. Well, hey, let's make sure the reviews aren't fake. No. We live in a country that grants us freedom to say what we want. We don't have to speak the truth. We are legally allowed to lie. They are trying to take your right to say what you want away. This is a massive infringement on freedom of speech because regardless of whether you believe lying is wrong or not, of course I do, lying is objectively wrong. Pinocchio taught us that all the way back in 1942 or when the fuck ever that movie came out, but we're allowed to do so, and trying to strip that away is a complete, that is an affront on our rights as American citizens. So we're going to get into this article before we do hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel, and again, I really don't think we can understate how important this is. The United States Federal Trade Commission has banned fake reviews and testimonials in a 163-page final rule regulation set for publication. Announced August 14th, the FTC prefaced their 163-page final rule. How do you take, hey, fake reviews are bad, we shouldn't allow them, and make that shit 163 pages? I'll tell you how. Legal jargon so that you and I, the regular average everyday folk that aren't lawyers, can't understand because, hey, we don't want the laws to be understandable by just the average layman. If we do that, they'll know what we're planning behind the scenes. And I know I sound very conspiratorial, I know this is very tinfoil hatty, but just wait until we get a little bit further into this. You'll start seeing what I'm seeing, and if you're anything sort of, wise or smart or got any modicum of intelligence, you will have the same fears I do. The ruling bans anything that could mislead a consumer who would utilize third parties to make a decision. That includes fake reviews, fake testimonials, including those from celebrities, and fake social media indicators such as followers or likes. Now, will that extend to, I don't know, regular average everyday Joes like your boy here making YouTube videos on something that maybe I haven't seen? Maybe I haven't seen the new upcoming Snow White movie, but let me tell you, I made plenty of videos on it. Those videos could discourage people from seeing that movie. Am I now going to be in trouble with the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, because, oh, well, you're making a fake review? Really? Because I'm just using my free speech to talk about a movie that I'm not going to see, and frankly, I don't think any of y'all should see either, because not giving Disney your money is objectively a good thing. But it goes even further than that. The FTC defines a fake review as being from someone who does not exist, such as AI-generated fake reviews, or did not have an actual experience with the business or its product or services, or that misrepresent the experience of the person giving it. Now, in a way, I kind of get the who does not exist, such as AI-generated fake reviews part. You know what? That makes sense. We definitely don't want people out there using AI to pretend to be someone else. I'm not saying the government should regulate that because, frankly, your boy is an anarchist. I believe that the less government overreach, the better. In fact, zero government overreach, zero government is the way to go. But that being said, I can at least see the argument for it. But who didn't have an actual experience with a business or products or services, how are you going to prove that? So you're trying to tell me I can't watch Snow White, or I can't make a review about the upcoming Snow White film if I haven't seen the movie? Okay, well, yeah, you should probably see the movie before you actually review it, but what's the point of marketing? The idea of marketing is to give you an idea of what the movie is going to be about, and you can decide whether it's for you or not. Or better yet, what if I do see the movie? Or before I post my review, before I talk about it on the internet, am I going to have to show you proof of a pay stub? Am I going to have to be like, hey, look at the Alamo Drafthouse app on my phone, and here's proof that I bought the ticket? What if I did buy the ticket, and I didn't actually go see the movie? I just bought the ticket to game the system, and then I write a bunch of fake shit. You're not going to know. I got proof that I, at least bought the ticket. How are you going to know whether I'm at the theater or not? You're going to check the cameras for that date and that time to see if your boy walked into my local Alamo Drafthouse. This is opening so many doors to absolute bullshit propaganda that the government can pull. And yes, I know. Are they actually going to enforce it? Is this something that's going to be taken advantage of on the individual level? Yeah, probably not. This is probably something that will be used on businesses, large enterprises. But that doesn't matter, because if it can be applied to the regular everyday working man, it eventually will be applied to the everyday working man. It's unclear how the FTC will enforce misrepresented experiences from viewers. The rule also bans pay-to-play reviews, whether they're positive or negative, regarding their own rival's product or service. Well, man, I guess Nick Colangelo's gonna really be out of a job after this if you can't give reviews for pay-to-play experiences. But no, I do get this one. Banning pay-to-play reviews does make sense. You're given incentive. If I'm paying you to do a review, well, let's be real, there is financial incentive to give me what I want, whether it be a positive review, a negative review, whatever it may be. I don't like the fact the government is enforcing that, because, government, objectively bad, anything they touch, bad. But again, you can at least understand that one. Businesses also cannot have an insider create reviews, create company-owned websites that present themselves as hosting independent reviews, or suppress genuine reviews, such as legal threats, intimidation, libel, or slander. But that stuff was already banned. Hence, we have the terms legal threats, intimidation, libel, slander. We already weren't allowed to. If you found out, hey, I made a third-party business, I claimed that it was independent, and it turns out I'm actually hiring my buddies to go in and write bad reviews for a rival company. That was already against the rules. That was false advertising. That actually breaks up a bunch of rules. So you don't need this new law to cover that, to overextend the range. You could just attack people for the laws they already broke when making said shell companies and misrepresenting themselves. How this cannot be viewed as anything other than government overreach is absolutely beyond me. In short, a reviewer testimonial must come from a real person discussing how they feel about a product or service with no other influence over them. Now, that's how reviews should be done. Yes, I agree. But are you really going to get in the way of humans' free speech just because, oh my god, someone gave Borderlands a bad review and they didn't actually see Borderlands? How are we not communist China at this point, guys? Our speech is literally being controlled by the government. Sure, it might be about, product reviews and whatnot, but that's still fucking compelled speech, or if not compelled speech, removal of a type of speech. So much for that good old First Amendment. The FTC will forbid providing compensation or other incentives conditioned on the writing of consumer reviews expressing a particular sentiment, either positive or negative. The FTC summary provides, it clarifies that the conditional nature of the offer or compensation or incentive may be expressly or implicitly conveyed. This in turn should mean a reviewer believing a positive review will grant them future gifts without the business making such a promise would still be void, as the business couldn't offer the initial gift that would have given them such a belief. The register notice, page 157, defines purchasing a consumer review as means to provide something of value, such as money, gift certificates, products, services, discounts, coupons, contest entries, another review in exchange for consumer review. As such, even the promise of the future reviewing opportunities is an incentive. And again, all this makes sense. I'm not even saying that the idea here is bad. But when it's coming from the government, and this is an actual law on the books that can be legally punished, when we got like rapists and murderers out there and people illegally coming over the border to take your children and shit like that, yeah, I'm gonna be real. The FTC talking about whether or not I can legally review Snow White, I don't really give a fuck. There's more important shit going on. Why is this something that's even being looked at right now? By strengthening the FTC's toolkit to fight deceptive advertising, the final rule will protect Americans from getting cheated, put businesses that unlawfully game the system on notice, and promote markets that are fair, honest, and competitive. Yeah, sure. Spin it as, this is a win for capitalism. We're doing this to protect you. That's how every bullshit law got on the books. That's how the goddamn Patriot Act got on the books. We are doing this to protect you, our fellow citizen. Well, guess what? Those that would rather give up their safety or further their freedom for safety deserve neither. And I stand by that. I don't give a damn about what is safe for me as the consumer. I care about whether I have the freedom as a consumer. This is government overreach at its absolute finest, and it's going to be overlooked because it's over something so minute, something so small, so minuscule, something that does not actually matter in the grand scheme of things. Because, they're talking about, if you're going to get on Amazon, of course you have to buy the item before you can review it. How is that a bad thing? It is the slippery slope argument to a T. Nevertheless, there may be some teething problems in the case of genuine user reviews and review bombing. There's a flood of negative reviews, usually after a business has announced something that makes their product or service reviled. This can also be an act of protest against a business, and we should be allowed to protest like that. When they decide to announce a game like Concord, Discord that's filled with pronouns and all this ideological bogus that no one cares about, if a million people decide to go in and give bad reviews of the game to send a message to the company, we don't want products like this, that should be allowed. But you know what? That's going against the grain. This is absolutely because there are people out there trying to vote with their wallets and use their voice to show corporations what we want. But we can't be doing that if it goes against the ideological grain of what the government is trying to instill in us in mass. The text doesn't clarify how such a person would have to use the product or service to be considered having an actual experience. On pages 56 and 57, one commenter proposed a scenario where a person tasted fruit from a restaurant but didn't go into the establishment. The commissioner stated, the positive hypotheticals did have legitimate experience with the product or service, but should not misrepresent the experience as more than it was. Alright, let's talk about video games. I've not played Black Myth Wukong yet. My computer cannot run it at the settings I want it to run at. So, what if I go over to my buddy's house and I play an hour and a half of Black Myth Wukong, and it really ain't for me. So I write a review on the game. Just because I don't own it, can I not do that? How are you going to verify that I went over to my buddy's house to play it? Am I now risking a fine or jail time or whatever because I wrote a review based on my own personal opinion with my own personal experience with the product that you can't verify? There is, again, the slippery slope is palpable. For example, review aggregate. I don't even, we're not going to go over the rest of this. You get the point. You see what's happening. This is cultural vandalism. This is an erosion of our fundamental rights. This is being used to curtail free speech. It may sound like fun and games. It may sound all simple because, oh, you know, it's just about buying stuff and making sure that we're reviewing it honestly. And again, it's something that is mostly going to be used to keep businesses in check, which, you know what, I have said multiple times, I can see the argument for, but that doesn't make it good. In fact, this is objectively bad, and no matter how much, if you can see why this would work, that is great. That's a first step, because you can then acknowledge, even though I see the good in this, here's all this other bad that we should be taking far more seriously. People keep talking about, I said this in the intro, people keep saying, you know, oh, ban the Department of Education, get rid of the ATF, and I agree with all of that, but the FTC got to go as well. There ain't enough people talking about the FTC when we talk about three-letter regulations, but my God, I believe in this country, I believe in this Constitution, I believe in our goddamn Bill of Rights, I believe, at the end of the day, in free speech. That's why I'm out here making videos every single day about things that I love, things that I loathe, things that I like, things that I dislike, and this is why you're watching, because you care about the speech that I'm giving. You might not agree with me. In fact, I like it when you disagree with me, because that leads to dialogue, that leads to conversation, but the fact of the matter is, we're allowed to have that conversation, but with our rights slowly being stripped away, that conversation is going to die, and it's going to die at the hands of a government that does not give a fuck about you, and only wants to control you as some sort of number. The dehumanization has already started, and what the fuck are we gonna do about it? I'm genuinely asking because I have no idea, but these are my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, where you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I am a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. Definitely not always about subjects this hot button, but this one need to be done. That being said, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon, and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles I go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos I react to on my Friday night live streams, and of course, get involved with over 80 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further, because we do care about diversity, but only one kind of diversity, diversity of thought. If that's interesting to you, hit that subscribe button, join the Discord, and until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.